Hi and welcome to the Malat Cookery channel. Today I want to show you the most amazing barbecue sauce completely from scratch. There isn't a bottle of tomato ketchup in sight. Okay, so this is another recipe that's been shared with me by one of the Malat customers, and the spice blend that this particular customer uses for this delicious barbecue sauce is the American Diner seasoning. Now if you don't have access to the Malat range of products, then just use a really decent barbecue dry rub, or as an alternative 2 teaspoons of paprika, a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder and half a teaspoon of oregano, which has been crushed in a pestle and mortar. That's the bare minimum you're going to need. Oh, and also some salt and pepper for seasoning. So this is probably the best barbecue sauce I've ever tasted. The killer ingredient now in this particular barbecue sauce is raisins. I've never seen raisins being used in this type of sauce before, and it is a definite game changer. As usual, a full list of ingredients will be given at the end of the video, so let's have a look at those ingredients now and anything else we're going to need for today. So I'm currently making a few different tomato based sauces, and this is the reason why. We get a tremendous amount of, obviously, tomatoes from the greenhouse. We've had, I think, just over 15 kilos up to now. About 32, what's that, 32, 33 pounds. And there's still plenty of tomatoes to go at. There's also quite a few cucumbers, which are nearly ready. One thing I've decided to do this year is just let the cucumbers grow almost wild in between the tomato plants, and that's proved to be really good. In fact, the tomato plants have got so heavy this year that we've had to put these stakes in because the canes have snapped because the tomato plants are so heavy. So these are the tomatoes that we're going to be using to make this great barbecue sauce today. So the ingredients list for today: we've got a kilo of fresh tomatoes, nice and ripe. It's important that we leave these whole. 1 medium white onion, which I've chopped. 1 teaspoon of chili flakes. 20 grams of the Malat American Diner seasoning, or whichever seasoning you're going to choose. 100 grams of raisins, 1 tablespoon of salt, 4 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 100 grams of light soft brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of distilled malt vinegar, and 2 large cloves of garlic which have been roughly chopped. First thing we're going to do then, I've got 4 tablespoons of oil in a large heavy base pan over a medium heat. And we're just going to add the onions, and we're just going to gently cook these onions for about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, next thing to add is our garlic. And again, we're just cooking that through for a couple of minutes. Now it's time to add in our chili flakes. And our seasoning mix. And we're just going to cook this for about a minute. Okay, now add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of water straight from the kettle. And in goes our tomatoes. So we're just going to turn the heat right down now and just start to cook these tomatoes through. And as the tomatoes cook and the skins take on that, all the flavours in the pan, the tomatoes will then start to break down. Once the tomatoes start to go soft, you then want to just break them up with your spatula. And we're going to be cooking these for about 15 minutes now. Okay, so after about 15 minutes the tomatoes start to break down. As I said before, it's important that we keep the tomatoes whole initially so that the skins of the tomatoes soak up all of the flavours in the pan. If we chop the tomatoes up first, then all the watery inside of the tomato will just make everything just like a mush. So after about 15 minutes, when the tomatoes start to break down, I've now added all of the other ingredients to the pan that we have left. And what I'm going to do now is turn the heat right down to a gentle simmer, and we're going to simmer this dish now for about an hour. Okay, so once we get this barbecue sauce to this stage after about an hour, next thing to do is I'm going to take it off the heat, leave it to cool down, and then put it through a food blender. And once we've blended it, I'm then going to place it through a sieve in order to get a really fine sauce. Trust me, that effort is well worth it. So once I've done that, I'll show you the end result. Okay, so once we've put the sauce through the blender, again I said second stage is to put it through the sieve, and the reason for that is no matter how much you blend it, you'll still end up with some of the tomato skin still intact, and also the skin off the raisins as well. So that's basically what's left in the sieve. What's actually in our bowl is the most delicious barbecue sauce, probably the nicest barbecue sauce I've ever tasted. There you go, absolutely delicious barbecue sauce. It is without a doubt the best one I've ever tasted, and completely and genuinely from scratch. Please subscribe to the channel, and as usual, if you've enjoyed this particular video, hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching.